This video is rated TV-16, has some harsh language which may not be appropriate for younger audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Alright, Heavy Metal Explosion coming at you with another figure discussion. Again, this is my 2 cents worth. What we got here is a 2008 Cobra Nightwatch Trooper. And this came in a 5-pack, I believe it was. And it had probably various weapons, although I usually kept the traditional weapons with them. I didn't really like all the extra crap. This was also part of the 25th anniversary line. This is the 25th anniversary line kicked off with a couple box sets in 2007. And it went on for a couple of years, about 3 or 4 years before they dropped the 25th anniversary and decided to make it all modern. In doing so, they did improve on the articulation and some of the sculpting. They also started making things a little more modernized when it came to the weapons. So, this, on the other hand, is part of the original. Let's see if I can get some focus going on here. Not that. Focus. Oh my goodness, it doesn't want to focus. It won't focus on the background. Wow. All right. So, I lost my train of thought, guys. This is part of the original 2007. It came with various weapons, 4 figures, and a Cobra officer, Nightwatch officer, which was supposed to be the improvement over the 3 3/4 Target exclusive Nightwatch series that came out several years earlier. So as you can see, we have a gray mask, a black helmet, the camo is black and blue. We got black gloves here, brown for the web gear. He's got a plastic gun there. It has some great sculpting and some great articulation. I mean, the web gear isn't the greatest. You see me keep fooling with it. Did come with this type of bayonet, which that was a homage to the original, I believe it was, to the knife on its side, but I would have preferred a more modern knife, shorter and a better sheath. So, nice pouch, nice wrinkles, and the boots look good. Although they did in later years, or earlier years, later as the line went on, and gave them ankle rockers. But this was a great improvement overall with your foot articulation. You got a swivel at the boot, at the just above the ankle, and of course, like I said, you got that there. Now, you could get the legs out about that far. There we go. Let me see if we can see if that works on the blurriness. So the arms go way up on this guy. They have a rotation there. They have almost 90-degree of bend, plus it swivels there. The hand swivels here. That web gear. So you have no real ab crunch or rotation or side to side motion, but you do have it where it spins right here, which is fine. The earlier series, I guess right up until it went into the 50th line, didn't really have a bunch of great articulation when it came to the torso movement. But you just have a swivel for the head. There's not a whole lot of movement under there. Let's see. Helmet does come off, but these, I guess at the time, were painted and then pushed on, and so therefore they get a little seized up from time to time. But there's some more views of your paint applications, which they weren't the greatest, but they weren't the worst paint applications, especially when you talk about the size of these figures. Now, nowadays, the 4-inch figures do have much better articulation than what some used to, if they wanted to go that far. Toy companies sometimes do, sometimes don't. Here's your typical base for the anniversary to 50th line, and comes with the Cobra Sigil 1 peg here. Now the later figures stands had 2 pegs, kind of at a 45. There's your nameplate, and we'll stick them on here. Oops. Like so. Bam. And as you can see, he stands pretty well. Nice static pose. We could probably give him a little action pose, maybe. Let's see what we can do here. Stepping off. Like that. And of course he wants to, probably because of that ankle, He wants to more or less stand back straight up. My joints are a little loose on this guy. He's been in and out of storage for some time. And there you go. Now, for sake of argument, this is his Dragunov. I forget the rest of it. I know this is Russian rifle Dragunov, but I don't know the rest of the call sign for it or numbering for it. But there's some, let's see. There you go. That's some good detail work, even in the early ons of, let's see what we can do here. Get a little extra light on this. You see in the guard there. And you see in the clip scope. And they held their weapons pretty much like you would expect. From a line with fairly good posability, but still not as good as some. But he's not gonna work. His joints are just too loose for me to be messing with them behind the camera anyway. But yeah. So, with all that being said, it's a good figure. It's a good set, for what it did when the 25th lines first started, and to get the reuse out of it that they got. It's not bad. As for the Night Watch, these little sub groups type things, I think, it was just, I guess, extra in order for Hasbro to get more money out of a mold, especially when they reintroduced the Real American Hero style 3 3/4 figures. They went with a Night Watch Crimson Guard set, Cobra Officer and Trooper set, black suited Cobra Commander. So there was some great reuse out of everything, and I don't knock it, especially through the generic trooper thing, like a Cobra Officer, Cobra Trooper, Cobra Viper, and the list goes on with them. G.I. Joes are more, I guess, they're just not generic. I mean, you do have your green shirts, you do have your Steel Brigade, but that's pretty much it. So I've got a rant that I've been working on for G.I. Joe. It's taken some time to get it the way I want it. But when it comes down, it's like scolding a child. This is something that Hasbro is famous for. Giving us less troop builders and more of your named characters. It's hard to deal sometimes. But, because of stores like Toys R Us, or back in the day, KB Toys. Well, I guess Toys R Us is a back in the day thing, because they're not as big as they once were. So you got that troop builder sets all the time with them. But it's probably less likely of us getting them, especially now with the 6-inch line, because they're going to want to focus on each figure individually. And as for the troop builders, those for the 6-inch line, I think that's going to be a long, arduous road unless we're able to pre-order, 10 or 15 of them at a time. And that's very possible. And that's what the pre-orders are there for. So, this guy here is going to go up on my eBay store. I mean, not eBay, eCrater store. And at Black Magic Comics Collectibles at eCrater. And I guess this figure is a great figure for what it's for. Like I said, the downside is that they have so many better versions of it now. And honestly, I doubt they can make any more improvements on that figure other than maybe ankle rockers and better hip articulation with the ball joints. But maybe only time will tell. Go ahead, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and tell your friends there's another collector out here just showing off some stuff and making conversation. I'm working on building a small following, not a huge following. I'm not asking for anything that I wouldn't give, just to chat amongst each other. I do reply to my comments. So with that being said, guys, like, subscribe, leave a comment, check everything out. I'll try to have end screens or whatever they're called on YouTube and these cards above. So yeah, that's a big fat finger. Oh, 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 oh. So let's get into a couple size comparisons. Here's Legends, and I do like Skywarp as the purple and black thing. I don't know, that's just what I like. And we got a deluxe figure. My all-time favorite Spawn figure so far. Yeah, and I dare say this is probably I'm going to keep winding up here. But until the new Spawn comes out, or I can get my hands on them, that's my all-time favorite. Your typical fix that foot. Typical. Build a figure, and we're going up to the top floor here. Wow. It's hard to believe he's going to get hit with some old ball sack right in the head if he turns around. That's pretty gross. There. Red Hulk. And one last comparison. With a 50th anniversary figure. And I think this is pretty good. Gung-Ho was probably shorter, but I think they were testing the waters about increase and trying to do scale in proportion to what they thought the 4-inch line ought to be. You know, he's probably 6 something is what they assumed, instead of maybe like a 5'9", 5'10" human being. So, you know, they probably upscaled Gung-Ho. But I guess I'll have to get into, you got a lot of different, you got ankle pivot here. The double knees are still there, but they're a little bit better, more or less. And as you can tell, the holsters are very nice. The sheath work here, if you can't see it, let's see if we can come down, and as you can tell, the sheaths, obviously this was different, but they improved on it as they got better. The wrist articulation obviously is hugely more satisfying. Still had a single elbow. I doubt they'd get out of a single elbow in the 4-inch stuff. And of course, well, his head does move a little bit better than this guy. But one of the biggest things is you had more movement in the torso, whereas there was really no movement in this torso. So, but yeah. And with that being said, guys, this is Heavy signing out. That was my 2 cents worth. With that being said, guys, like, subscribe, leave a comment, and tell your friends there's another collector on the scene talking about G.I. Joes and Transformers and different toys. I'm working on getting at least 10 subscribers. So hit me up. And I do reply to comments. Maybe not right away, but I do reply. So I'm out.